All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Delusional Fan with Geraghty McCloud. Ryan McCloud is right there. I am Chris Geraghty. Thank you for joining us again this week. We had last week off. I had a busy week going. Again, more baby stuff, baby shower. So we apologize for not bringing you a show last week, but that also gave a little more time for our fan what ifs at the end of the show.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got a fun show set up for you today. We're going to talk NBA Finals. We're going to do some rapid fire questions between Ryan and myself and see what kind of answers we can come up with. These are, and we didn't discuss these at all, these are going to be spontaneous questions with spontaneous answers just between us. And then our top 5 this week is going to be a lot of fun. And then we're going to round it out with those fan what ifs. You guys really gave us your thoughts on what we came up with last week, so it'll be fun reading those aloud. And then Ryan and I also might add on to what you guys say and what we think about the whole thing. So I think a great first topic for today is the NBA Finals.
We're in the thick of it.
I think you and I both predicted the same thing, which is Golden State in 6, right?
Yeah, 6 or 7.
I have to go back.
Yeah.
I know I picked 6. I just couldn't remember exactly
6
what you
or 7,
said.
I think. We determined that Golden State was going to win. That's what we ultimately said, regardless of the games.
Right. And one of the segments that we had done before was about Trailon Green, if you remember from a few weeks ago.
Right.
And, crime and punishment is what he's doing, does a punishment fit the crime? So, he kicks Steven Adams in the balls twice. Just all the little stupid stuff that he does. Is it worth being ejected? Should it be finable? Right. And as the NBA showed us, really for the first time so far in these playoffs, aside from the one player, Jones from the Cavs, they suspended him for a finals game over the little tap of LeBron James. What do you think about that?
Rightfully so.
Yeah?
Absolutely,
okay.
Man. Come on. Because, look, at the end of the day, and I understand the concept of it's the finals and you got to, the best player should play. And I actually, this is kind of contradictory because of what I said, I think it was a few weeks ago when we talked about the crime and punishment, that I think you should maybe penalize after the season. Look, man, they should have suspended him, or at least were thinking of suspending him after the kick to Steven Adams, right?
Right.
They didn't do it. It was kind of a, do it one more time, asshole. Like, let's see if you can try it one more time. And he did. He deserved it, though, didn't he? How many times, and he knew he was on the hot seat. He knew that if he acted out in that way, that it could potentially hurt the team, and it did. It clearly did. They missed him in Game 5, man. And did you watch Game 5? Or?
Yeah, I watched all of Game 5. And that's the thing. I really do think Draymond was the difference, because there's no way.
I'm talking more about LeBron and Kyrie's performance in that Game 5. But
and we're going to get to that in a minute.
Sure.
But what I want to talk about is, could LeBron and Kyrie have done that? Because the way they were driving the lane with really minimal. I mean, even though Golden State was playing as good a defense as it could, you didn't have that presence of Draymond for the double team down low. And so Kyrie made 74% of his shots. I mean, I think
they shot out of their mind.
Yeah. LeBron made most of his outside shots and stuff that he doesn't normally do. Just the threat of him driving the lane was crazy enough. So, in my opinion, Draymond playing in that game, Golden State wins it easy. I think Golden State's going to win tomorrow.
Here's what it came down to is, you said who's going to win tomorrow?
Well, I picked Golden State in 6, which means they win tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah. Or tonight for anybody watching the show.
Right. Golden State, they're at their best when they play that small ball, and Draymond plays the center, right? They've outscored the Cavs the entire playoffs, or in the entire series here, when he plays center. And the Cavs, reversely have outscored them when he hasn't played center.
Right.
So, of course, it affected them in Game 5. I'm not going to say that they would have ultimately won had Draymond played. People aren't going to make as big a deal about it, but the fact that they lost Bogut is a big deal, too. It is.
Well, because
you can't play you can't play small ball the entire game. You can't. Cleveland will throw a different lineup in to mess with it. So when you can't play, who's going to step in and play where Bogut would have played when he's playing center? Varejao?
Right.
Azili? You can't trust these guys, and they're not going to bring. Bogut's at least smart, can rebound, and he's a great defender in terms of blocking shots. They're rim protector. So I think that's going to hurt more than people think.
We now know Bogut's out of the series
for the rest of the series, right?
So,
if it goes to 7.
Yeah. Now, I don't think it's going to matter for what happens in Cleveland, unless again history happens. So you brought it up. Let's talk about it again. So first two players, teammates in an NBA Finals to score more than 40. They both had 41. Kyrie and LeBron.
Right.
I had looked up some numbers before. Now, were teammates that scored 40 each in the playoffs, never in the finals. So LeBron and Kyrie did it this year, finals. 2000, Jalen Rose and Reggie Miller both had over 40.
In the same game.
Same game.
Okay.
Clyde the Glide and Hakeem did it in 95,
right.
The year they won, the year after Jordan retired, obviously. And then Hakeem and Floyd did it in 88. So it's been done before, but so rarely and obviously never in a finals. And as good as they were, and I don't know if this is the Kyrie we should expect or if this was an anomaly from him.
Right.
I don't think they can repeat that. I don't think Kyrie can repeat it. I don't know LeBron can do it every once. I'm not positive Kyrie can repeat that performance.
Of course. I mean, yeah.
Do you trust him to do it?
That's a tough... here's the thing. He can. Like, we know that he can do it. So would it shock me if he did it again? No, it wouldn't. I think Cleveland's going to win tomorrow night.
It would shock me if he did it again. I don't think
again. If you're talking, I'm talking strictly making that, scoring like that for a team. He might not shoot at 76% or whatever, like you said. That's probably not sustainable, and that's not going to happen again. The bigger thing isn't that he did that, and the bigger thing is that they both did it in the same game.
Right.
That's the difference, man. They took over that game and won that game by themselves.
They did, and I think having Draymond and Bogut out were big reasons.
Here's what I want to bring up to you, and this is my question to you based on, with regards to the finals.
Okay.
If let's assume Golden State's going to end up winning the series, who's the Finals MVP? Because I'll tell you right now, it's not Curry, and that's 2 years in a row that it's not that this year's unanimous, first ever unanimous MVP, and 2 years in a row MVP isn't going to be the Finals MVP.
It might be, if it's not Draymond, which it should
probably going to be Thompson.
It'll be Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
But
it could, if Iguodala drops 30, you know what I mean?
This is what I think. I think if Draymond plays well tonight, wherever you're watching, if Draymond plays well, and he's the reason, again, that the Cavs get shut down and allows, obviously, for all that great outside shooting from Curry and Thompson, Draymond Green will be the MVP.
Yeah, and Draymond would be another one. But again, my point is that it's not Steph Curry. And he hasn't played. He's had an average series 2 years in a row in the finals. And
what it shows is that their team is great.
And I totally hear that. I brought that up a couple of weeks ago. It shows their depth. Their bench is winning them games. Livingston's, again, had impact on this series. It's interesting to me, man. Who do you... and this is the other question.
Yeah.
Honestly, who do you think is a better basketball player? Klay Thompson or Steph Curry?
Klay Thompson, because he plays much better defense.
It's an interesting thing to me to factor in. He's the unanimous MVP.
Let me qualify that real quick.
Because I completely agree with you. He's a far better defender.
And let me qualify that, and then I want to get into your bench scoring. It was another stat I had looked up. Steph Curry might be the most dynamic shooter we've seen. Probably is. I mean, really, who else is there at this point that can shoot that way when he's healthy? Which is, I don't want to hear anything about health, because if he plays, he's healthy. That's the way I look at it. But
Klay's right behind him.
He is right behind him.
He's the second best three-point shooter of all time.
But Klay is a more complete player and can play defense on one of their toughest guys. Klay, even though Kyrie really lit up, for the most part, Curry in that game, Klay did play a little D on him and didn't do well either. But for the most part, Klay is a better defender all around.
But that's another thing, is that I think he's actually a defensive liability. If you watch Game 5, they're attacking Curry and they're making sure that he's part of the action when they're setting screens and making people move on defense.
Well, and they're
attacking him and using him as a liability.
I was going to say, they're setting screens so that Curry's on the guy with the ball.
Exactly.
He can't cover LeBron, and he had a lot.
Even
of
when he's away from
Kyrie.
the ball, they'll bring him in just to do that. Right.
Exactly. So. But as we've already discussed, I never thought Curry was the MVP anyways.
You thought it was LeBron?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it can be anybody but LeBron.
Person for his team.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Bench scoring. Let's take a look at this. So, bench points per game. So when we're talking about the season,
right?
And this is the crazy part. Through the season, Golden State Warriors bench averaged 34.1 points a game, which is pretty good. playoffs, they're still averaging 31. And you know the minutes go down in the bench because there's not as much platooning.
Right.
That's an insane number.
That
Now
is.
let's compare it to Cleveland. Regular season 27. So they're already, 7 points under.
Right.
Right? In these playoffs and in the finals right now, 16.4. So
Compared to Golden State.
So Golden State is doubling.
I was going to say, compared to their
Cleveland's.
30 or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, so they're doubling it.
Is doubling the production. So what has to happen in this game is exactly what happened in Game 5. LeBron and Kyrie have to literally win it by themselves.
I think that has to happen in the next 2 games. Right, if they want to win the series. Absolutely. They are going to need performances like that. And another thing, and J.R. Smith hasn't had a great final either, but he can go off at any time as well. It's just kind of like this... It's like a time bomb. It's like ready to go, man.
I'm going to add on to this. Sean Livingston on the bench for Golden State has had 47 bench points in this final. Andre Iguodala 40, Barbosa 32. Right. Those are the top 3. Cleveland player, which is Richard Jefferson, doesn't come in until 4th, and he only has 23, which he played a great game in 5. But you're right. This is where, and you had brought this up when we first started talking finals. If you don't have the bench play, that means you have to rely on LeBron and Kyrie, and Kevin Love is obviously worthless in these finals right now.
Yep.
So that's a pretty big deal.
There's only really been one game that Steph Curry's actually put up points. And my point, going back to that, was that the stars are going to put up their numbers, and if they don't, it's irrelevant. It's always going to be a wash at that point. Right. The bench is always going to come in and be a huge factor. So, yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That's why they're up. That's why they went up 3-1.
Yep. Klay Thompson, another stat I was looking at, his big quarter is always the second quarter. He loves the second and third quarters.
Dude,
hasn't done much in the first and the fourth, so you really want to stop him during the middle of the game. I really don't think it's going to matter. I really don't.
What?
I think Golden State is pretty strong after a loss.
They haven't lost back-to-back games except once against OKC.
And as much as I would like to see Cleveland get that championship, I don't see them beating Golden State twice.
I don't know if they can beat them twice either.
They've been 3 times in a row.
Well, they need to win the next 2 games.
It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think it will either. I think they push it to 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So your prediction is it's going to Game 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm saying Game 6, Golden State.
There is a little, and again, there's little things to watch though. Like there was a lot to play for, other than the fact that they were playing for a championship the other night. To win on their home floor, and avoid having to go and play this Game 6 and take the trip to Cleveland.
Yeah,
They won on Cleveland's floor last year. I think they really wanted to. I'm just saying there might be maybe there's some doubt that starts creeping in that we didn't pull the trigger. Now again, the flip side is we've been here. We did this exact same thing last year. So we'll see. It should be a really good. I'm stoked. Stoked for that.
So real quick before we go, let's say either way Golden State takes this. Are Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron in Cleveland next year?
It's hard to obviously, if anybody's going to go, it's going to be Kevin Love. But I don't know where they go with that. I don't know their contract details. I'd have to look in that stuff. If I had to guess, I would say yes, they will be together again next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think
again, but there's obviously a good chance that Kevin Love might be exiting. I mean, he's bad. He had 2 points in Game 5.
It's really bad.
Step up, bro.
LeBron
Get
didn't even
big,
high-five
dude.
him. Yeah. I know he needs to be a big. He's going to have
and
to
he
step up.
forced his shots and
It was bad.
Again,
Missed all his
defensive
three-pointers.
liability. Yeah, he had 2 points. Stupid.
All right. Well, that is it for our NBA Finals talk. We both think Golden State are going to take it. You think Game 7, I think Game 6, right?
Yep.
Okay. Next up, we're going to do our rapid fire. I'm excited for this. This is going to be new to the Delusional Fan. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube page. Talk to us on Facebook. Talk to us on Twitter. Whatever you need, we'll get back to you right away. And we'll be right back with rapid fire.
Rapid fire.